What does it mean to be honorable? I did a video in the past where I broke down the historical definition of honor to the different factions and For Honor, but this video isn't that. Today, I felt the urge to talk about this, as for some time now, my future with this game and my YouTube channel has been in question. This video isn't meant to scare anyone, not at all, but all things have their time and place to begin and to end, and for a while now, I've been wondering if it's nearing that point in time for me. So I find myself looking back on my history with this game, both when I wasn't a content creator and when I became one, and I find myself taking pause. So much has happened to me because of this game, and I don't want to outright say that For Honor has changed me entirely as a person, because that wouldn't be entirely true. But I will say that For Honor has tested me in manners that forced me to address some questions that I didn't know I should. I started this game on release, and as many of you may know, For Honor didn't have a very good release. Bad servers, unbalanced matchmaking, OP characters, and all-around bad competitive scene. For Honor was in a very bad place. Yet, I stayed with it. I endured through that period, choosing to play against bots and to focus on story concepts and fashion, and I managed to make it through the darker days of that first year and a half. I had to practice patience, and also to do as my dad would say, to seek the positives in every experience rather than dwell on the negatives. So I did. And through that, I found that I could still love For Honor in spite of a very, very lackluster beginning. When I finally did begin my YouTube career sometime around year 3, I did not anticipate any real traction. It was a hobby more than anything else, and I genuinely expected my channel to stay in the lower end of things. I'm not a top-tier competitive gamer. I do not have a large gaming setup, nor am I a top-tier PC kind of player. I play casually on a PlayStation. I study history, languages, writing, and storytelling. So instead of trying to push my channel to be something it could never be, I decided to do what I loved. Exposit upon the history, discuss the storytelling elements of the world of For Honor, and tell my own stories in it. To my surprise and delight, an audience came from that. My channel began to grow, and as of the making of this video, it has surpassed 42,000 subscribers. It's a feat I never thought possible, and I owe it to a willingness to put faith in my own capabilities rather than try to pretend to be something I simply wasn't. Could you imagine if I tried to pretend like I was some competitive gamer and tried making content about the balancing of the game, or about how awesome I am in matchmaking, or how I can light parry everything? Because I would never have been able to do that, and it would have shown that I was dishonest. I had to be who I was and make content around who I was. And with my growing popularity, I gained new connections and friends in the For Honor content world. Havoc became a good friend after revealing to me he was a fan of my work just as I was a fan of his. We have become close, and through him, I would begin to connect with other great content creators who I've mentioned and collabed with in the past, such as A Break and Run, John DeLiner, The Spooky Wizard, Raptor X, Wexra, Freeze, King Angelus, and more. And it was also through Havoc that I would actually connect with the development team of the game, gaining the opportunity to see some of the inside of the game's production. Yes, I would occasionally get early access to something coming, but more than that, it gave me the chance to see how much the development team and the content creators around this game really cared about this game and its survival. I found that I'd gained so much more from For Honor than hours of playing and competing in online matches. I'd gained meaningful connections, people that I honestly care about, something I would not have expected from an online game. But not everything in this journey has been great. Success has a funny way of warping your view of loss. When you rise higher and higher up the summit, each slip-up seems that much more severe. I took mistakes badly, handled criticism poorly, and at times acted in unbecoming ways, making a real fool of myself. I lost connections and friends because of it, and I felt like I was not measuring up to the standards that I'd set for myself. My community often tells me that I'm too hard on myself, and they aren't wrong. I hold myself to very high standards that I can't always meet. But something I learned from these mistakes and missteps is that I need to practice self-discipline and integrity. I must temper my tongue and my deeds. My bad behavior, especially as someone with an audience, will be viewed, scrutinized, and, at best, criticized. At worst, emulated. I never want people to see a side of me I wouldn't be proud of myself, especially when I know that I have an audience that might want to replicate that side. I must be disciplined. And now, as we are in year 9 of For Honor's existence, and I look at the game as it is now, and I look at my channel and all it's become, I'm met with various questions that I find myself asking. Was my devotion to this game all this time worth it? Am I a better person having spent so much time on it? Has my channel meant anything to anyone beyond just a few laughs and a few nods of the head? Have I made other people's lives any brighter because of what I've done? And as I ponder those questions, I think about the very things I learned along the way. All the things that I just mentioned. To have patience to endure in hard times in life, and to focus on positives rather than on negatives. To be true to what I am and the things that I love rather than to pretend to be something I can never be. To value and treasure the people in my life who believe in me and give me the will and strength to keep pushing forward, and to practice self-discipline and self-control, and to always be conscious of how I appear and act around others. Patience, honesty, integrity, discipline, responsibility, tenacity, compassion. I learned all of these over the course of my For Honor career. I knew these virtues beforehand, but through this game and my time with it, I learned to put them to practice and to embrace them. And all of these virtues are what make up a man's honor. See, to have honor is to value integrity and responsibility, to strive for improving oneself rather than become complacent with a status quo or to sell oneself out simply for views, popularity, or clout. Having honor is to endure hard times or static points in life and to look to others around you rather than to fall for the lie that you're all alone in the world. Having honor means to analyze yourself and recognize the parts of yourself you know you can improve and have the willingness to grow and better yourself from the man you were yesterday. And having honor sometimes means taking up a stand and looking out for the people you care about, even when it's not an easy thing to do. I didn't learn these truths from my time with this game, but I most certainly had to understand them and practice them here more than I ever thought I would. Maybe For Honor isn't a perfect game. It's got problems, dry spells, stagnant points, for sure, but I learned a lot from it, and more than I ever thought I would. I'm not the same person I was when I started this game. Life, time, and this game have had a real impact on me. And I know that my time with this game and with this channel has probably impacted many, many more people than I ever have before. So, now we come to this next crossroads in my life. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to run this channel. These last few weeks of my life have been some of the hardest I've endured in some time. I've suffered a lot of loss, a lot of pain. And even now, I'm fighting to get my life, my career, and my relationships back in order. I feel isolated. And at times like I'm on my own in an ocean drifting nowhere fast. Something has to change, and whether that means I hang up the channel for a while or whether I move on entirely, I don't know. I'd like to think that won't be necessary. I'd like to think that this is just another one of those many difficult storms in life, and it too shall pass. I'd like to think that. But it is a real concern I have, and it's something I've been thinking about. Again, this video isn't meant to worry you about whether or not I'm quitting. If I do decide to move on, I'll give you warning ahead of time. But for now, I wanted to explain a little bit about why this game and this channel have meant so much to me. With all that's happened during the big drama that y'all are certainly aware of lately, there's been some talk about how the game is just so bad now or so dry now that there's nothing good in it anymore and it needs to hurry up and die. I wanted to make this video to say clearly that I still think there's so much good in this game. And even when the day comes it does die out or my channel dies out, I will hold on to the years I've had with this game with pride. Because it was from this game that I was able to practice real honor. I don't know if this video will mean much to you guys. It probably won't get that many views because it's just me talking about honor and my experiences and stuff like that. But I hope that for those of you who watch it, this meant something to you. And I honestly hope that this game will continue to thrive and do well for a long time to come. I hope that my channel will continue to create awesome content around this game that will please you and continue to draw people to it. And when the day comes that I do move on from the channel, or For Honor dies out, whichever comes first, that our time with For Honor and the time you've spent on my channel will have left you better than it was before. Because I'll say this, my time with this channel and with this game, I think, have made me better than who I was before. Thank you very much for watching. I know that this isn't a big, lore video or anything like that, but I felt the need to talk about this. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you in my next one. Take care, guys.